Good day everyone, my report is about t-test in managerial statistics under Dr. Cherry Ann E. Francisco. So my report is t-test. A t-test is a type of inferential statistics used to determine if there is a significant difference between the means of two groups, which may be related in certain features. So at this part is t-test was created to identify if there's a significant difference between the means of two groups. On the other hand, the t-test is one of the many tests used for the purpose of hypothesis testing in statistics. So, na-discuss na ni ma'am ng nakaraang reporter yung hypothesis testing on what is the purpose of hypothesis testing in statistics. Calculating a t-test requires 3 key data values. So, ito, patandaan lang po ito. They include the difference between the mean values from each data set, the standard deviation of each group, and the number of data values of each group. So, ayun yung 3 key data values why t-test was created. For example, now we have example, Students' t-test can be used in real life to compare averages. For example, a drug company may want to test a new cancer drug to find out if it improves life expectancy. Kung mapapahaba pa yung life expectancy. In an experiment, there's always a control group, a group who are given a placebo or sugar pill. The control group may show an average life expectancy of plus 5 years, while the group is taking the new drug might have a life expectancy of 6 years. So dun sa mga nagte-take ng bagong drugs, ang life expectancy nila is 6 years. It would seem that the drug might work, but it could be due to fluke. To test this, researchers would use a student t-test to find out if the results are repeatable for our entire population. So at this part, titignan kung yung gamot for cancer is repeatable on entire population or kung sino ring nakaka-experience ng cancer. So ayun yung purpose ng t-test, why it was created to see if the results are repeatable for the entire population. So at this part, nakita naman natin magkaiba yung life expectancy nung nag-take ng lumang gamot and then nung bagong gamot, which is yung isa is nagkaroon ng life expectancy of plus 6 years, unlike dun sa isa is 5 years lang. Student t-test can be used in, so ito yung isa sa mga example ng t-test na or purpose ng t-test. On the other hand, let's say you have a cold and you try a naturopathic remedy. Your cold lasts a couple of days. So at this part naman is yung isa is nagkaroon ng gumamit din ng naturopathic remedy, while on the other hand is gumamit din ng naturopathic remedy, pero at this part naman is yung isa last a week yung cold niya, while yung other naman is 3 days lang is gumaling na kagad sila when they took the homeopathic remedy. What you really want to know is, are these results repeatable? A t-test can tell you by comparing the means of the two groups and letting you know the probability of those results by happening by chance. So at this part nga diniscuss din na magkaiba yung effect nung remedy on sa magkaibang sample or magkaibang taong nag-take ng gamot regarding remedy. The next. So, ayun na nga. Na-check naman natin kung ano yung results on both sides nung naturopathic remedy. Independent samples. The independent sample t-test is the most common form of the t-test. It helps you to compare the means of two sets of data. For example, you could run a t-test to see if the average test scores of males and females are different from the test. Answer the question, could these differences have occurred by random chance? The two other types of t-tests are one sample t-test used to compare results to unexpected value. For example, two males scores higher than the average of 70 on a test if their exam time is switched to 8 a.m. So at this part, on one sample t-test, i-check nila kung yung average of 70 is makukuha pa rin ng male if they switch the time to 8 a.m. On the other hand naman, on parity test, dependent samples used to compare related observation. For example, do test scores differ significantly if the test is taken at 8 a.m. or noon. So at this part naman sa parity test, bibigyan ka ng dalawang example or dalawang choices. It's either 8 a.m. or noon. 8 a.m. or noon. So, ayun yung dalawang examples ng other type of t-test. Bukod pa dun sa independent samples. So, which is one sample t-test and pair t-test. So, yung nasa taas yung parang pinaka-given. Then, ito, ginawa siyang one sample t-test and pair t-test. So, ayan na yung sa pair t-test, makikitang pwedeng it's either 8 a.m. or noon. Kung ano yung magiging results ng scores if either magiging 8 a.m. or noon yung test. Independent sample t-test. Sample question. Calculate an independent sample t-test for the following data sets. So sa data set A, we have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. So ayun yung makikita natin sa data set A. We have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. And the data set B, we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 9. So, ayun yung sa data set B. Independent sample t-test. Step 1, sum the two groups. So, at this part, pagpaplasin natin lahat ng nasa set A, pati din sa set B, then yung equals nun is ayun yung magiging pinaka answer. A. Sa set A, we have 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 is equals to 35. While on the other hand, sa B, meron tayong 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 9. So, ayun yung meron tayo sa set B na is equals to 50. Independent sample t-test. Step 2, square the sums from step 1. So at this part is we have 35. We have 35 squared is equals to
pwede mo pagpilian na
1225. Well, 35 squared yan guys kasi naiba yung format nung pinasok ko na siya sa may 35 squared is equals to 1225. 49 squared is equals to 2500. Step 3, calculate the means for the two groups. A is equals to 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 is equals to
we have number 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, 5
divided by 10 natin siya sa 10 is equals to 35 divided by 10 which is
step 1
ang kalalabasan is 3.5.
So
Sa set B naman we have 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 9 is equals to 50 divided by 10 is equals to 5. Set this number aside for a moment. So mamaya makikita natin yung purpose niya. And makikita natin siya kapag nilagay na siya sa may formula. Step 4, square the individual scores and then add them up. Step 4, square the individual scores and then add them up. A
plus
is
5
equals
plus 6
to
plus 6
A.
plus 7
Sa
plus
set A
9
we
is
have
equals to 50.
11 plus 22 plus 22 plus
So,
33
Ayan.
plus
Na,
33
on
plus
the next slide,
44 plus
we have the step
44
2.
plus 55
Step 2,
plus
square the sum
55
from
plus
step 1.
66 is equals to
So,
145.
what
While
is
on
the
B we have
square
12
of the sum of
plus
step 1? So,
22
352
plus
is equals to
44 plus 55 plus 55 plus 55 plus 66 plus 66 plus 77 plus 99 is equals to 298.
Well, the
Set this
square of
number aside for a moment. So mamaya makikita na natin purpose niya. And then
set B
pag
is
nilagay na siya sa may
492
sa may
is
formula.
equals to 2.
Step 5, insert your numbers into the following formula and solve. T is equals to,
Then step 3, calculate
so makikita natin kung paano siya basahin mamaya.
1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2
Sum,
plus 4 plus
mean of the data yung nasa
4
taas, mean of data
plus
set
5
A
plus
and
5 plus
minus mean of data set B.
i-divide
Then
natin
yung
sa
mga
10.
nasa loob
So,
is
bakit 10?
mamaya
Kasi
matatakal
meron
natin
tayong
siya.
10 samples.
Ayan.
1, 2, 3,
So
4, 5,
T is equals
7,
to, yung nasa taas po natin is mean of data set A minus mean of data set B. While yung mga nasa loob, nakapaloob naman dun sa may formula natin is yung EA squared is
plus 6 plus 6 plus 7
sum
plus
of
9 is equals to 50
data set
divided by 10 is equals to 5.
A
That is numbers aside for
minus
so yung mga number na nagather
sum of
set aside din natin. Then we will go on the next slide.
sum of data set A squared. Yung nasa taas, then yung
Step 4, square the individual
under,
add them up.
yung i-divide mo siya sa number of items in the data set A
22 plus 32
plus
33 plus 44 plus 44 plus 55
we have
is 55
sum of data set
equals to
B
145. While on set B we have
sum
12
of
plus 22
data set B
plus
minus
44 plus
sum of data
55
set
plus
B
55
squared
55 plus 6
divided by
66
number of
plus
items in data set
7
B.
plus 7 plus 9
Then under
plus
nyan is
190. Set this number aside
yan.
for a
So
moment.
ito,
So, mamaya
ganyan,
makikita
ayan yung
naman
maging
natin yung mga-
kalalabasan niya kapag
Let's proceed on the next slide.
nilagay na natin lahat
Next
ng
slide is insert
data.
the numbers into the following formula
So
and
T
solve.
is equals
T is
to,
equals to,
yung 145 po is ang
and now we
ating
have
sum of square of data set A.
ayun na yung pinakakabuuan na
While yung nasa taas po pala natin is 3.5 minus 5 is
sa next slide. So let's
the means of data set A minus means of data set B.
so,
Then
ayun na.
yung nasa loob nating 145 is
We have
or sum of the square of data set A. Then yung 1,225 na yan is sum of data set A squared divided by 10. Yung 10 po na yan is number of items in data set A plus 298. Yung 298 po na yan is or sum of the square of data set B minus 25 divided by 10. Yung sum of data set B yun po yung 25, then divided by 10 is our number of items in data set B times 1 divided by 10 plus 1 divided by 10. Yung
mean of data set we have 5.
yan po.
Sum of the square of data set A is equals to 145.
Then under niya is 10 plus 10 minus 2. Yung 10 plus 10 po na yan is number of items in data set A and number of items in data set B. T is equals to negative 1.5. So, yung negative 1.5 na yan is the answer on 3.5 minus 5, which is our means of data set A and means of data set B. While yung 145 po is our
0.5 sa taas.
sum of the square of data set A minus, so ito na yung kinalabasan ng 1,225 sa taas,
Set A minus
which is
means of data set B.
minus 122.5 plus 298. 298 is our sum of the squares of data set B minus yung kinalabasan po ng 25, which is our sum of data set B squared divided by 10, which is 250 times 2 divided by 10. So T is equals to 3.917 times times 2 divided by 10. So sa taas po natin we have negative 1.5 as Then,
kung ilan yung
is
data
equals
natin
po
kanina.
to negative 1.5
Then, with data set,
square root
we
of
have it, and then
0.783. And our final answer is negative 1.69.
then, yung mga nandito
So,
po
ayun po yung
is
kanalabasan po ng ating t-test na ginawa po
number of
natin.
data in set A and
So,
number of
nakita
data
naman po natin yung
of data
formula
in
and
set B.
lahat
Yung dalawang yan.
lahat po ng information regarding sa such as sum of data, mean of data set A, sum of the square of data set A, number of items in data set A, and number of items in data set B is nakalagay po dyan sa side para po it will serve as a guide po kapag hindi po natin ma-identify kung anong part po yun. Hindi ko lang po kasi nalagay yung pinaka formula din na nakalagay po yung mga para po tignan nyo na po sa kabilang slides. Yung kabilang slides naman, yung slides naman po is uploaded din naman sa sa GC natin or sa Google Classroom po natin para po maging fully informed po tayo regarding sa formula and sa mga meaning regarding sa formula. So yung kabuang pinakita po natin ayun po yung independent t-test na which is common at yun po yung talagang pinaka ginagamit po na klase ng t-test po.
Negative 1.5.
Then later on makikita po natin kung paano compute ng degrees of freedom. So ayun yung serve as step 6 po natin. So yun po. Then our quizzes is submitted naman on the GC and it will be submitted on before Saturday po. Then after po nito is makikita po natin yung step 6 on which is ang itatakal po natin is degree of freedom. Step 6, find the degrees of freedom. So we have NA minus A then plus NB minus 1. Yung NA po na yan is our number of items in data set A and yung NB naman is number of items in data set B. Ganyan po siya basahin. Number of data in minus 1 plus number of data of set in data set B minus 1 is equals to 18. So, ilan ba yung number of data natin? Diba? 10 minus 1. 10 po yung number of data in set A natin. And then, ganun din po yung number of data in set B natin, which is 10. 10 minus 1 plus 10 minus 1 is equals to 18. So, ayan po yung find the degrees of freedom natin. Ayan po yung degrees of freedom natin, which is the step 6. T-test. Ito na yung step 7 po natin. Look up for your degrees of freedom in the T-table. If you don't know what your alpha level is, use 5%
multiplied by
which is 0.05. 18 degrees of freedom at an alpha level of 0.05 is equals to 2.10. So at this part ay na po yung 18 degrees of freedom natin which with an alpha level of 0.05 which is equal to 2.10. So ayun po yung step 7 po natin. Step 8, compare your calculated value on step 5 to your table value of step 7. The calculated value of negative 1.79 is less than the cutoff of 2.10 from the table. So therefore, P is in our step 8, compare your calculated value of step 5. So therefore, P is greater than 0.05 as the P value is greater than the alpha level. We cannot conclude that there is a difference between means. So at this part, we therefore conclude that there is a difference between means ng data na ginather po natin. Ang gather ng data po natin. So ayun po yung result ng ginawa po nating t-test. So that's the end of my report. Then all the quiz po is submitted before Saturday po. Then
10 minus 1 plus
then if you have questions, then isa-send ko na lang din po yung yung website kung saan ko kinuha yung para po fully informed po tayo regarding sa t-test. Correlated pairs t-test. A pair t-test, isa pang klase ng t-test po by hand. So, step 1 po natin, subtract each y score from each x score per t-test. Example, step 2 po, add up all the values from step 1. Set this number aside for a moment. Use po natin yung score 1 sa score 2, which is, ayun po yung nakalagay sa x and x minus y. Well, doon naman po sa kabila is, sa kabilang table po, nakalagay po yung x minus 1, x minus y kapag in-squared po siya. Then, ayun po yung formula na